Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon, all the way down in Nashville.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. We are thrilled to death that you're listening to our show, where we put the spotlight directly on all of the passion builders, as it were, the non giant behemoths of the industry.
That's right, because we're coming to you from Passion Pit Studios.
That's a different place.
That's not tonight.
That's not tonight. That's later.
Night. Ooh, I like
Anyways, and in this case, you know, Tony, way back in the day, when you, me, and Jared were just starting out, wee bucks, with the show, where there was a builder that captured our attention, partially because he was an Ohio builder, and I was really excited about that.
Who?
Yeah. And this fellow made his way up, and we had a really great time with him. We liked him so much, we said, hey, maybe you should be on the show.
Yeah?
More. And this person stuck with us for as long as he possibly could.
He used his noggin and avoided us for a while.
He said, I can take classes and not be here. Person, who are you?
Mike Trombley, Native Audio.
Hey,
Mikey's back. Mikey is back. And for you longtime listeners, hopefully you got a big fat smile right now. And if you are just joining us in recent episodes and don't know who Mike is, give us the, we're going up the elevator to the penthouse where all of the grand poobahs are. So tell us, as we're riding, the length of a ride, a 20-story building, tell us what you do.
Name's Mike Trombley, owner, founder, CEO of Native Audio, and we build electronics that kind of have a foundation in minimalism, and also I share my culture through the products.
That's great. And they sound good, too. You forgot to mention that part.
Yeah.
I remember when you were with Red House Electronics.
Yes.
Yeah, but you had a falling out with the owner.
Yeah, the owner was kind of a
Mr. Red
jerk.
House. Yeah.
You took over.
Yeah, Mike the president.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah. Nowhere to work in that place.
No, so me and Mike from shipping, we joined forces and started Native Audio.
That's amazing.
Nice.
Carried the name.
But you took the desk lamp with you.
We trashed that.
Did you really?
Yeah, the desk lamp.
That actually makes me really sad. I would have taken that. I would have bought that off you.
Yeah,
legitimately.
The IKEA one?
The little tiny lamp that you were building all those pedals.
Oh yeah. I think I got rid of that. It's
how
somewhere.
could you do
It's
that?
somewhere. It's probably at a
You
family's.
could have at least said you
I
still
can't believe
had
it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That was the bedroom.
Yeah, and I actually downsized my table. That's the crazy thing about it too.
Did you
Shorter?
take the stapler?
It's a little smaller. What?
Actually, he's using a stapler as the desk.
Yeah. I still got a
Use your-
stapler.
Yeah.
With
So
purple.
flashlight on your phone.
we're going to get to you, Micah, in just a second. While we're talking about,
Yes.
the reason the desk thing comes up, Mike is like 6'8", and 6 foot is his legs. So seeing the smallest desk in the world with the tiniest desk lamp in the world, building small pedals that have even smaller components than anybody had ever seen up until that point.
Let me tell you, Todd. I told you the pedals are minimalism. I live a life of minimalism.
No. These what? Minimalism?
We only keep what adds
Do
value.
you know how many functions are in this tremolo right now?
Do you know how many functions add value to your life?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's not essentialism, which
Yes.
is just bare minimum, but minimalism.
Yeah.
We
The
keep
only
what
thing
adds
minimal
value.
about this tremolo pedal is that it doesn't have the other 3 foot switches that you need to operate on that. Anyways, we'll get into that. And you brought your cohort here.
Yes, I brought Micah Kemplin in. Micah.
Hello. All right, well done.
Yes. Just a really quick backstory on Micah. Micah, he's behind.
Easy.
what's your-
This is a family show.
What's your initial title? I would say product creation and manufacturing. right?
Yeah, I make the coffee sometimes too.
Oh, yeah.
He brews a
That's
mean mug.
important.
What's your favorite way to make coffee?
I used to use the French press all the time, and I just use a drip pot now.
Yeah, you just gotta go drip.
Yeah.
I like using
that or
water.
K-cups. We do K-cups in the afternoon. Yeah.
Coffee and cream?
Just black.
Just black.
Oh, you guys got to try a Bialetti.
What is that?
Oh man, I'm gonna change your life
Okay.
after this. I'll tell you about it after the show. Anyways,
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
we got guitar stuff
I
to
thought we
talk
were going
about.
to do
dude.
a coffee podcast.
I'm sure there are many. I would love to be on a coffee podcast, just for not a full time, but just as a guest, that'd be kind of fun. Anyways, I got to take a sip of something. So tell us, Micah, just tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do. After
So I'm Micah. I work at Native Audio. Currently, I do the builds.
we just went through all that. Skip.
What else do I do?
getting there, he's getting there.
I help with
You
with
play-
design.
What do you play? You play some stuff.
Yeah, I play guitar and bass. Currently, I play bass in the band Skirt. It's
Okay.
a punk rock band from
Perfect.
Dayton.
It's a pretty sick band.
Sick band.
Yeah, sick band.
Played with them. I have.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have.
That was very Yoda-esque of me to
That's,
say.
I was trying to follow the show.
Yeah, that was fun.
But me and Micah, we've known each other for about 8-9 years now.
Yeah,
yeah.
I worked at a guitar shop in the town I live in, and Mike would come in there on his lunch breaks, and he would bring in early Red House Electronics prototypes.
Yes.
I was like, you built this? They were incredible. So I did some early demos for Red House too.
Yeah, he did.
And then as time passed and it got too much for him to handle all the builds, he brought me on. So
All right. So, point is, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a stacked show. We've got lots to talk about. Mostly, Mike and Micah have a brand new pedal. There's nothing. I love introing like new gear. Like that's so exciting for me. We did Daredevil last week with his brand new pedal, the Aces. Yeah. And then I got a call from Mike. He's like, dude, I'm releasing a new thing. Need to be on the show. I'm like, come on down, dude. So, I mean,
Always welcome.
he didn't sound exactly like that. But
And it might have been Tex.
You always have your own room back here at the Guitar Knobs, just like college. You come on home and you're always welcome.
yeah,
Appreciate it, yeah.
he's like Motel 6, Jared is.
Exactly.
All right. So we
Literally.
have just one quick announcement. We need to do a real big thanks to for providing all of our audio equipment. It works great, and you should get their stuff if you are making content, because they really have been thinking very heavily about content makers, and so many of you I know do that. So give it a consideration, and thank you to Rode for providing that. Our good friends down there in Australia. Thanks, Nick. All right, we need to find out what we've been doing this week in our general guitar world. We're going to start off with Tanya Bolonsky, and then check out Mike and Micah, and then dip into Jared and myself, okay? Go ahead, Tony.
All right. Well, so Todd, this week I have been delving into the world of Grover tuning machines. Now, I needed a set of what I thought I needed a set of Grover Imperials for a project that I'm doing. Grover Imperials are kind of like Grover's version of waffle back tuners. I don't know if anybody clues on me. Waffle back tuners.
Backs.
Waffles. Waffle. And they have the Art Deco stair-step buttons on them.
Yeah.
So I thought I needed those. But what I actually
When you say you thought you needed them, like you thought you need them from a, this is going to make your life complete, how we think about guitar gear, or you needed them because that was what is required of the guitar?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So I'm working on a guitar that needs what I thought had Grover Imperials. Well, in fact, what they had on this guitar are Grover Super Rotomatics. So a Super Rotomatic is, you know, when you think of a Rotomatic Grover, you know, with the big round thing on the backside, and this one it's a Rotomatic that has that.
Okay.
That has that
muffler shops around the corner.
Yes, indeed. So super Rotomatics are what when you normally think of like Grover tuning machines that has the big round sealed mechanism on the back, except it has the stair step
So it's like
button.
a combo.
It's like a combo. So that's what I actually needed. So I ordered a set
Why
of
didn't they call it a combo-matic? That would have made so much more sense.
Imperial-matic.
Yes.
Roto-Imperial.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
So I ended up, I had to call because I had ordered a set through my supplier, and I said, oh, no, because it won't work, because the Imperials are they have a push-in bushing on them as opposed to the bolt bushing that you would normally find on Grovers. So that led me to start digging in a little bit into the world of Grover tuning machines. And
Quite extensive, I would imagine.
Well, there's more than I'm even going to cover today, but I thought I would just share that with our listening audience.
All of them?
No, not all of them. So these are just kind of the basic ones. And back in the day, I think the very first machines that
There's
Grover,
8 of them on there.
Well, I'm just going to talk a little bit about that.
This is an hour and a half show.
I'm doing the Grover podcast
Okay.
today. Jeez. So
That could be a 101.
So one of the earliest Grover machines out there were what we call Stay-Tights. And they were an open back gear. I believe they came out in the 50s, possibly. And yeah, I'm definitely in the 50s. And so that was, designed to be basically an OEM product. So a manufacturer would buy these and put them on their instruments. And then they started making sealed tuners, which were basically the original Rotomatics. And again, we talked a little bit about that. But at that time, they had a shape on the shaft where the button went in that was the shape of a milk bottle. And so you can still buy original Rotomatics or vintage Rotomatics with the milk bottle if you're so inclined, if you want that particular look. We talked a little about the Super Rotomatics that have the stair-step buttons. But they also, and this is kind of interesting, they also make a mid-size Rotomatic and a mini Rotomatic. Now, the mini Rotomatics are
If anybody needs a neck pillow, the stewardess will be on their way. Just give it a minute. I'll
do
blankets
this.
too.
I'll be as brief as possible, Todd. I know that your time is precious. And the clock is ticking. So the mini Rotomatics generally are used on like Fender style 6-in lines because they need they're space tighter. Then there's the mid-size, which work on somewhere, not quite, if you have a guitar that can't accept the full-size Rotomatic, maybe just slightly smaller. So those are the mid-size. And there's even the vintage, and those are the Clues-On style. Now, it's a sealed tuner with a bushing on the front, but on the back, it looks like a true Clues-On tuner with two...
Like the tin stamp kind of thing.
Except it says Grover.
Right.
Instead of Clues-On or Gibson.
Right.
So I just thought I'd share that because there's,
and that's only 8 out of...
Well, they make locking
30?
tuners, and they make more than
50.
Millions. They make millions of... No, they don't make that many. But it's kind of cool, and if you have a guitar that has some special needs, you can always go to the Grover website, and they have a pretty good description of, and they might even have drawings of the sizes and things on there too, so you can check and see if it'll fit before you actually buy them.
Very cool. Look at Mike's face.
No, I mean, that's very interesting because we were just looking at Grovers for my Strat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah?
you're talking about putting together a new neck.
Yeah, I'm thinking about getting a new neck for the Strat. For the
Okay.
Strat, yeah. The Strat's
Jiminy.
2012.
Wow.
Well, you'll need to get
Throwing me off
the
here.
minis. Mini 6-in line.
Well, that's exactly what I was picking up on. I was taking mental notes, so I really appreciate that. I didn't know that about Grover.
Who knew
I really
that?
didn't.
Tony comes in here with his encyclopedic knowledge and drops it every single time. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I learned that and removing the fourth wall today within the last 2 hours. It's
Indeed.
wild.
Let's see. Mike, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, mine's probably not going to be as jazzy, but I've been playing a lot with string gauge.
Really?
And because originally when Micah came on, I think I was rocking 10s on my Duosonic or like 11s or something, and it's shorter scale neck, and it never crossed my mind that thicker strings would be they would feel fine on the shorter scale. So for the last probably year and a half, I think I've been slowly increasing the gauge, just slowly increasing it. And right now I'm rocking I literally just put these on about a month and a half ago or a month ago and been enjoying it. It's the Roto Blacks. And what is it? 12 to 60. 12 to 60.
Wow.
That's pretty hefty.
And I play on E standard and drop it down to E flat sometimes.
But you do a lot of bendy bits, like
Yeah.
anybody that doesn't know Mike John Frusciante is like
Yes.
his spirit animal.
Yes, and it's like 12, 16, 20, 38, 46, and 60, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, and but Mike has played it, and it feels
It's great. It's
Yeah.
the 24-inch scale, though.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
So, I mean, like,
it's,
it's-
12's on a 24-inch scale, or
And I just kept on pushing it, and dude, I love this gauge.
It feels about like standard 11s
Yes.
on like a Tele or a Strat.
Yeah,
Yep.
So it's
Okay.
a little
beautiful.
stiffer, but only slightly. But it's really easy to bend still.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, so just doing a lot of work on the Duosonic. Micah hooked me up with some of that cloth wire too, so I went and rewired all my materials, and I had actually had Brandon wound pickups in the bridge, and
Nice.
clean those up. I text Jared because I ran into an issue with I do all these pedals, but when it comes to wiring a guitar. It's not foreign, but it's just something
It's
I
a different.
don't.
It's like doing your own plumbing. It's
Yeah, I
like,
just don't. Yeah,
why do I
would
want to
just
do this?
yeah, and I would just have somebody else do it. But anyways, I decided to sit down one Saturday morning, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this rewire really quick and throw in new string gauge. Let me tell you, it literally I took about 4 hours Saturday. Could not come out with the issue. It's Saturday night. I'm texting Jared. I'm like, Jared, so you remember that pickup that I got from you? Here's the situation. And he's throwing out some ideas. Sunday morning, I spent 2 more hours on it. Come to find out, I found the issue. But during that time, I destroyed my volume pot on my guitar. So I had to wait till Monday when the Trojan City Music.
Like overheated it or something.
Yeah, Trojan City Music. Well, no, actually, I didn't overheat it. Literally, the one of the legs broke off of the pot. Is really interesting. It was just one of the stock pots, or no, it was a different brand, but yeah, I won't say. But yeah, so I just went over Trojan City Music in Troy and picked up a CTS pot and just threw it on there and got it working. After like an entire weekend
Outstanding.
of rewiring, and the wiring looks fresh, new strings feel awesome, and so just
I hear that actual flux is the key to good pot soldering.
Yeah,
I said
It
it.
is.
Yeah,
It
Flux
makes
does.
your life easier.
Yes.
Yeah.
Flux on that flux.
And that was a black and white Bear lead wire, right, Mike? If I remember right.
Yeah, and my whole issue was the grounding on the switch. I was tagging it wrong, and yeah, should have known. SMH.
The irony is thick in this story.
Yes, and so so yeah. Anyways,
That's cool.
Yeah,
Micah?
very cool.
Have you guys played those new Squire baritones?
I have not.
I've been kind of obsessed with the idea of getting a baritone since I got to play a couple of those new ones.
Is that the Telly one?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they're a 27-inch scale, which most of the baritones I've played I think have been a longer, like a 30-inch scale, and they feel excellent. And the string gauges that are on them feel right too. The bass sixes always feel like they're hard to get your fingers into place because they're just so tight between the strings. But these new baritones have kind of got me thinking that I want a baritone really bad.
Do it.
Dude, they play those ones that Micah's talking about. Play like a dream.
Does your music liken itself to doing something like that, or?
Not the bands that I'm in, but for like surf or like spaghetti western type of music. If you just drown them in reverb, they're so cool. It just has a kind of has a vibe to the whole instrument. Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Tony Baloney, in your infinite wisdom of Fender, why did they create the 6-string baritone? Why did they create the bass 6?
I think
What was the main use of that?
I think it was to allow guitar players that wanted to play bass or needed to play bass a more direct. I mean, to me, it doesn't really make that much difference. I mean, I can pick around on a bass a little bit, even though it only has 4 strings. But I think they were thinking that, there's a 6-string guitar. Oh, let's make a 6-string bass. And that was basically it.
That's pretty cool.
I mean, early on, there were like Dan Electro was one of the first companies to come out with a 6-string bass, and in the '60s, especially, a lot of people followed through. Gibson even had a 6-string baritone SG. And so there were a lot of companies that followed suit, but by the time I think the first, probably 62, 63 is when the Bass 6 came out, and that was just kind of an answer to that. Again, I believe it was because they wanted to have guitar players double up on bass if they needed to.
Fair enough.
Do you think maybe bands tended to be a little bigger. They were this, like, if you think of, like, especially like the early '60s stuff, like where there was a focus on surf, there's like lots and lots of harmonies and like multiple guitar players and stuff like that. So maybe a way to help differentiate amongst them to get more of them in there, maybe.
No.
Okay. Well, like the astronauts we were just talking about.
That's true. And I think that
If
was.
you got 4 guys playing Jaguars, it's not,
Add some variation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yo.
Right. Yeah.
No,
I like my version of this history better. All right. Tony, Jared, about yourself.
Oh man. So did anybody buy the new Greenie Les Paul that just came out for $50,000?
I was thinking about it, but just didn't pull the trigger.
I think there's one. If you go to the Gibson dumpster, I think there's a handful of them in there that you might be able to dig one out.
I'm waiting for it to come out on DHgate.
That is probably one of
just saying.
Yeah, you won't find anything like that in the dumpster. It's certainly not Brazilian rosewood, which is included in that fretboard. But that is probably one of the most copied Les Pauls, and it started even way before Kirk Hammett. But that's not really what I was going to talk about. But I wanted to mention it because I know that created a lot of conversation on the internet, and they sold within 24 hours.
How many?
I think there's around 50 or 60 of them.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think
And
that's how much.
that's it.
So,
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
Yeah. But I was home today, and I got my good old 71 Gibson Deluxe down and plugged it in. I never understood those mini humbuckers with the lower, like the bridge is not very loud. It's not a very strong pickup. It's around, I would say, 6 to 7K. And it's just not in the bridge. In the neck, it's fine because you've got all that bass response, giving it a good louder sound. But in the bridge, I don't know. What do you think, Tony? Do you like that sound?
I have never been a fan of mini humbuckers in a Les Paul. And I know a lot of people. There's a lot of people that do like those deluxes that have those. And honestly, I think that was just a carryover from when Gibson bought Epiphone, because Epiphone, had tons of mini humbuckers in their.
They were putting them in Rivieras, weren't they?
Rivieras was another.
And those
one.
were single coils though, and those were kind of structured different. The original Epiphone ones.
Oh yeah, you're talking about
and the Zephyrs.
Yeah, the New York.
That's when Gibson bought them, and then Gibson started making the Epiphone minis. There were humbuckers from then on, and mini humbuckers, and Firebird. It's the same situation, and there are people who love that sound, and it's a signature original sound from that era. But me, I like it beefed up to around 10K, and that's what I did with this guitar. And plugging it in kind of reminded me of that, and it sounds really good. But
beautiful,
nice.
How about you, Todd? What's going on in your musical world this week?
Well, I actually did a really astounding purchase. I know there are certain things that I have to go like, oh, I think this is going to actually help, and it's usually to help the show.
Right.
yeah.
So I ended up getting a 2 notes Torpedo Captor X. Doing the 1 minute wonders. I know those are only like, they're little demos right now, but we have hopes and aspirations and just trying to figure out what is the best way to get the sound and someone says, here's the pedal. I'd like you to, experience it, and I'm going to be on the show. I want that to translate, as best I can. So anyways, I got the 2 notes Captor X, and I was really excited about it because all I've heard is amazing things about this. And knowing that my amp will actually sound like my amp, and that the pedals will actually sound like the pedals, and the guitar, everything's going to sound as true as that is what I'm being sold essentially with this. I thought this might be worth it.
Have you played it?
I have.
Okay.
I also
Thoughts?
wanted to mention for the entire month of October, they're $100 off.
Okay.
On the website, on the 2 Notes website. So if you're thinking about getting one, like, now is a great time to do that.
Oh, that's fun.
Anyways, so I'll probably talk about this a little bit more in the future. There are some things about it that I'm like, this is so easy. There are other things about it that I'm like, this is absolutely ridiculous that I can't get information on how to do this. For example, one of the key features on the 2 Notes is that you have 6 presets. And the 2 Notes essentially takes your amp signal and will attenuate it either through
Through a load.
Through the load. It's a load box essentially. It'll attenuate your amplifier. You can listen to it with the headphones. You can go directly into your computer, your DAW, whatever, and that's excellent, especially if you're playing like high-powered amps and you play your music really loud or whatever. The cabinets, they put their weight into the cabinets. It's not an amp simulator. It's not a pedal simulator. It's like, and they really actually do shed quite a bit of light on why the cabinets and speakers are so important, and the microphones you use with them. So you've got 6 presets, okay? Each of these presets you assign a cabinet to or something like that, okay? And when you do that, if you want to customize your own, like, well, I want to put this mic and do that, and then you save the preset, it's just at the bottom, like out of like a ton of presets already there.
It doesn't go to bank 1 through 6?
No. Not unless you alter the existing preset, which kind of defeats the purpose of having that preset.
Can you overwrite preset number 1?
You can overwrite it, but then that's gone. What they do is they go like, there's a ton of them, but they'll say, let's say there's 50, okay? Yeah. There's 50 presets. If I go in and create and modify that preset, whatever they set it at is gone, and I hopefully have to remember. Below that, it's like another 50 of it just says user. So I can assign that to a brand new bank. But nowhere in all of the documentation of all the YouTube videos that they put out, nowhere do they say, hey, if you create a new user preset, this is how you actually assign it to the 1 through 6. I spent hours trying to figure this out.
Oh my gosh.
I was getting pissed.
Yeah.
And
it's crazy that they're sponsoring the show tonight.
Anyway, so that's just one aspect of it. And so I got really focused on that, and I did play around with it, but I haven't recorded with it yet because that's another sticky thing that I'm trying to get through. So there's some aspects of it that I really love. I'm not saying I 100% am loving it and or keeping it. If I can get past a couple of these hurdles, I will. Yeah. But yes.
So I had the Torpedo Live, which is basically the rack mount version of that.
Right.
And it was before they even had the one the Captor. Is that what it is?
The Captor X.
Yeah. Before they had the Captor X, they had the Live, the rack unit, and that was the thing back, 6 years ago or something like that, 6-7 years ago. And phenomenal. It sounded good.
Yeah.
And what you're talking about, like you choose your mics, you put your mics over here. You could choose, like if you're in a studio, in a room setting, you can remove you have all the reflections, all that craziness. So it is sweet.
But it's not so much that it's paralyzing either.
That's not, because what I would do is I just put bank 1 and 2. I had just 2 different sounds that I enjoyed, which is cool. And the interface on the rack unit only had like a power button, and it had, I think you could just, like, if you wanted to do a quick adjustment on the things, you could just press that one button and turn some dials, but you could easily cycle through the presets.
I can cycle through them, no problem.
Yeah. And so it was cool that, it could be as confusing as you want, or not as confusing, but
ultimately I solved the problem.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, I mean, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Click on this huge bank that doesn't look at all clickable and move it? Oh, that's what you do. Yeah. So you go into the window that's saying, here are all of the things that aren't in the main area where you're working and saving.
Yep.
And you just drag it. And I was like, how freaking hard would that be to just put it as a bullet point in a manual? Like, for that, it's one of the number one selling points of the actual unit. 2 notes. What the crap?
Yeah.
Anyways, so hopefully that little bit of information, which is still not on the internet. I must have looked at 30 videos. I mean, I was going crazy. I can't believe it. It's absolutely
sounds
ridiculous.
Still good though.
Yes, sounds great.
Okay. What are you running into it?
The Marshall Origin 50. Okay. And it's nice because I can do all my pedals through it, and they sound like my pedals, and it's nice.
Okay. Did you run the through into like a speaker or something like that too? Like, try that?
I have not done that yet because I was too busy trying to figure out the presets.
Well, I look forward to the update.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I know you will.
Let me know when you say preset number 2.
Hey, as soon as I figured that out, I did set all 6 immediately before I forgot.
Fingers crossed.
Anyhow, so we need to get on to some bigger, better things because we're already halfway through the dang thing. Mike Trombley, how many pedals are in the Native Audio lineup?
We currently have 8
pedals in the current lineup. Okay. Yeah. I'm thinking, because these pedals are so good, if somebody buys one, they're probably going to buy a bunch more. Maybe all 8. And if they did, you know what's nice about these pedals? They're top mount jacks. Now that can be a little problematic if you got pancake cables with the power, depending on what power thing you have, and they're all banging into each other and all that junk. But if you get Tour Gear Designs patch cables, they work perfectly. And you could string them up with just a handful of little 3-inch cables from Tour Gear Designs.
What kind of cables?
Tour Gear Designs patch cables.
Wow.
That's correct. If you go there to tourgeardesigns.com and get said cables of any length you might need, and put them in the cart, Tony, what happens?
If you type in the secret coupon code, the guitar knobs, you'll save an additional 10%.
That's true. And they ship them to you in a package, and you get them and you use them and you are happy. So thank you to Tour Gear Designs for making an awesome product and sponsoring our 4 on the Floor.
I love it.
Jared?
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. All right. Micah, give us your 4 on the floor.
4 on the floor. I think a super underrated and fantastic boost pedal is the old school Seymour Duncan pickup booster.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. The angled
That's the
one.
first time on the show.
That thing it just sounds fantastic. I use it a lot as a leave-on, and then I replaced, it has like one of the chicken head knobs on it originally, and I put like a really big circular
Elton John
knob.
uses that pedal too.
But
leave on. Oh, come on.
Nope.
None of my Elton John references. but I leave it on all the time, and you can roll it with your foot, and essentially you get like it doesn't go to zero. So when it's at its minimal setting, it still passes the signal and is boosting it a little bit. And then at its maximum setting, it's adding an incredible amount of volume. So you can use it to push other drives. It works really well that way.
That's cool. So when you got this pedal, I imagine, and you tried it out, you're like, you know what? This pedal, this shall be leave on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly how it
That's
works.
exactly how it worked. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Well,
Beautiful color, by the way, too.
Number
It's
two.
a great
Yes.
maroon.
Great maroon.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
maroon is a. Go ahead.
The Rat. Old
Okay.
school 80s Rat.
Wait, okay, so you're saying old school 80s Rat. So
Rat 2.
Rat 2. Okay.
Yeah, I've got a couple of the 80s small box Rat 2 pedals, and I really use those on like everything. Anytime I record any instrument, they sound good on bass. They sound good on guitar. I use them mostly for low gain, but I like it's a really dynamic sounding pedal. It really kind of focuses your tone in a cool way. But that's kind of my go-to dirt pedal.
okay.
Yeah,
How do they sound with trombone?
I haven't tried it yet, but I'd be willing to bet in a low gain setting, it would sound better.
Drum tone.
You could add trom tone.
Yeah,
you could,
trom tone.
yeah. I really like the old
I'm
school.
not laughing at that. Okay, go ahead.
He won't give you that one. I really like the Boss Fender Reverb pedal, but I think it
The
sounds
new one?
No, the old school brown one.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Actually, sorry, you said
FRV1.
Fender Reverb. I was thinking the latest version of all the anodized pedals that they put out.
Oh,
sorry,
no.
You
yeah.
said Boss in front of that. I'm sorry.
The brown one. It's the FRV1.
Yeah.
What's weird about that, because I see people rave about it, I think if you put it at the end of your signal chain, where reverbs generally go, I think it sounds terrible there.
Interesting.
It sounds I think it sounds really harsh and it sounds phony. If you put it before your drives, it's incredible sounding. You just have to be really minimal with the amount of mix you're using because
Right.
it's going to intensify the reverb effect. But it sounds a lot more believable before
Which is kind of
drives.
ironic, really, because
Yeah.
the whole point was to Fender Reverbs typically are used in a not as subtle, they were historically like, wow, look what this reverb can do.
Yeah.
So to have a pedal that essentially is mimicking that, but really having to use it at a minimal value.
Well, it still sounds like a lot of reverb. Just
Okay.
the fact that you're putting it before the drive
Gotcha.
is kind of amplifying the reverb effect a little bit.
I see.
But that one's a really, really, really fun one. I use
Okay.
that as a leave on a lot of times too.
Okay.
And I would guess I would probably like just a tremolo. I mean, probably a TR2. I love
The Boss
the
TR2.
classic. Yeah, Boss
Yeah.
TR2, just a classic. But I love the combination of the reverb and tremolo.
It's nice because it has the latch mode too, which is pretty cool.
Can be
that's
cool.
right.
Can be cool.
Yeah, that or I also really like the VB2 though. I maybe swap. I could take those interchangeably. Probably
Yeah, that's what's this?
Whoa.
I don't know if you're
Not
familiar
five on
with
the floor.
I
Come
would
on,
take
Mike.
one. I would take
section
the
we
fourth one off
just
the
introduced.
floor before I put the other one back on the floor. But, but yeah,
VB2?
yeah, maybe like
Yeah.
vibrato,
Okay.
interchangeably with the tremolo.
Beautiful.
One of those.
Okay.
Very beautiful.
Vibromolo.
Vibromolo.
Oh, yeah,
that's
yeah.
a thing.
That's
a thing.
Market.
Vibromolo.
Yeah.
I like it. I love that idea. That's fantastic. Vibromolo. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it someday.
No drum tone.
It sounds
though.
like a cough suppressant.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. We
Yeah, of course.
bypassed Mikey because Mikey's sort of he's
Boring.
Curmudgeon.
Yeah,
he's not a
boring.
curmudgeon.
Lame.
He likes what he likes, and
Dry.
he's already said that ages ago. So
Yes.
nothing new to update in that.
Unfortunately not.
It's okay. It's okay. So listen, we have gotten through most of this, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you guys shut up and talk about the new pedal." So Mike, talk about the new pedal so we can get this over with. No, just kidding. No, you were very excited, as was
Yes.
I. What is special? Tell me. Well, there's two things special about this pedal. One is, where can you get it?
Yeah, so this is actually a website exclusive. This is something that we're doing different with this run. And it's only available at nativeaudio.com.
Okay. And what is another very exciting factor about this?
The exciting factor, I would say that back in the day, we had Red House Electronics. We had the Red House Electronics Running Wolf fuzz.
Right.
Okay?
And that's what
And
that's what Native Audio used to be called.
Yeah. So Native Audio used to be Red House Electronics. Then we came out with the Running Wolf, which was, I think it was the third or the fourth pedal in the line at the time, and the Running Wolf Fuzz was actually one of the first pedals in the Red House Electronics line that actually started moving it towards the Native side of things.
Right.
Running Wolf being a tribute to my grandfather, Edwin Running Wolf, and we kind of did this thing with the product line where we kind of just got rid of all of our dirts and fuzzes, and anything with dirt on it, we threw it out. And we just kind of wanted to focus on modulation. So we spent a couple of years on modulation, and we were like, you know what, we're lacking in some dirt. Let's get some dirt in it. So what we ended up doing was we ended up going and starting to build this dirt line. It's we call it we say 2022 the year of dirt, and that's kind of how it's been. And it started with the Kiayo, and then it moved to War Party, and now we have the McCoy.
Yeah.
And McCoy is the
that's the pedal that we're talking about right now, by the
this
way.
is the pedal that we are talking about. And so
and how do you spell that?
McCoy is MaKoyii, and McCoy is the Blackfeet translation for wolf. And why I bring up Red House Electronics and Running Wolf is because that's kind of been the progress or the whatever of this pedal. Originally Running Wolf, Red House Electronics Running Wolf, now Native Audio McCoy, and it still lends the story behind the design. It still pays tribute to my grandfather Edwin Running Wolf, but each of our products kind of captures like a theme of like a story, and this one is perseverance. And my grandfather Edwin Running Wolf, he kind of embodies that word, perseverance. And and so this is just a tribute to him. And but the really cool thing about this one, really cool thing, is the tone, and I'll let Micah share a little bit about that.
This one we kind of wanted to make the most versatile drive pedal we've done.
It sounded like we just shifted to NPR talking about rocking chairs, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yes. I used to work for NPR. No, but we wanted to make a really versatile drive pedal. So the gain control on this one is really wild. If it's down, it does a great clean boost. If you start to just barely open it up, it'll do like a clean compression. So you're adding lots of sustain, but you're not really getting the negative sides of the compressor. Like it's not raising the noise floor. It's not really messing with the dynamics of your playing either.
Yep.
After that, it gets into like a low gain. We've been calling it like Jimmy cleans. You know, Jimmy hears this clean tone when he rolls down the volume, but the fuzz is still on. It gets that sound, which is a sound that I love. Mike also loves.
What do
that's
we call
probably
it? Jangly grit?
Yeah, like a jangly, gritty kind of thing.
Grit.
But there's tons of articulation for chords. You know, you can play jazz chords, play blues chords, and like you're gonna be able to hear all of the notes in that chord. But just livens it up in a really cool way, and it'll go all the way up to like just we were calling it edge of fuzz. That's going purely into like a clean amp. If you're going into like an amp with some grit on it already, it'll get extremely dirty. So
or if you take a dirt pedal into it, it definitely gets on that fuzz tone. But we've kind of captured it as edge of fuzz, just because it kind of has that fuzz characteristic, but not too much to where it's not.
You're not getting into that until well into the gain.
Yes, it's very well tamed. In a good way, in a musical way.
Yeah,
and I guess one of the very cool things about this McCoy is we originally, when we started the design, we were like, hey, let's just let a fuzz, you know. And I don't know how it's hard to do that, because when we originally came out with the Running Wolf, it was a 5-knob fuzz.
Yes, I remember.
And now I look back at that and I'm like, that is ridiculous. Like 5 knobs. Why do you need 5 knobs for a fuzz? Anything more than 3, then you're being kooky. So, Mike Trombley from 2017 thought, you know what, that is too many knobs. Let's remove all those knobs and let's just keep a volume knob. And Mike Trombley from 2017 was kind of right, but not so much right. And so once we threw that in line, then we decided, let's bring that back. But I don't want one knob because we kind of readjusted too much.
Yeah.
And
the pendulum swung, Mike.
The pendulum swung. and so 5 was
slammed
no good.
right into the wall.
No, yes. And so and we've already been coming out with these great 3-knob version pedals, and we were like, why don't we do this? And so we had a couple different settings for that gain knob, but Micah actually came in this idea, and this is what's really cool, I guess, with the whole native audio thing is the two guys that are like all these boxes you see up on the table here.
We have several of the other pedals, by the way.
Yeah, you have several of the other ones.
None of you can see what Mike was just pointing at.
Yes, and I guess one of the reasons why I really wanted to bring Micah in here too is that I guess just me and Micah's I don't even know what you call it, chemistry or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of back and forth, and sometimes we're brutal with each other, like
those old saws from yore.
Yeah,
the 2-man.
I'll have to Google that reference, but yes, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's very much so that, and sometimes we land on tone that we're both like, oh, dude, that's awesome, and others but it's a great combination, and that this McCoy is a perfect example of that, and. We actually had the design almost ready to go, like out the door, almost ready to go. And Micah came in with this concept. He came in with this concept the next week and was like, dude, what if we do this? And I was like, you know what? Let me breadboard that really quick. And so I breadboarded this little mini circuit. It's a couple components, stupid easy. And we threw it in the middle. I think we actually ran it before the McCoy, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and which I think it was still running with at that point. And we ran that circuit right before the McCoy. And dude, this thing sounded killer. It cleaned up ridiculously to the point where I was like, Micah, I know that design that we previously had, but it was good. But this thing that you came in here with, let's do that. And so we kind of worked back and forth for about a week and kind of just worked on it and just should we do this? And that's what we ended up doing. And fortunately, we arrived on something that I think has a lot of versatility gain wise.
Yeah.
And Micah kind of alluded to it, but it covers what we would consider 5 pillars of gain. It's the compression. The next one is the Jimmy cleans. It's a little jingly grit, and then the third one would be kind of the crunch. You think kind of like JT45, kind of crisp, crunch, classic rock tones, and then the fourth one would be soaring leads. Soaring leads. Yes, it's something that gives you sustained tone. And we kind of the way we kind of introduce this one to people is a lot of people will run 2 drives together to get more of a sustaining type of sound. And that's kind of what the 4th stage of this thing delivers. And the last one is the edge of fuzz tone, which delivers some pretty tamed but yet focused fuzz.
That was excellent. Dissertation on your pedal. I plugged this in and immediately made a video and sent it to Mike because it was I totally connected with it. What I loved about it was when I'm trying to figure out my gain, if I can hit really hard and be able to back off and still have articulation in single strings or rakes up from the high E, right? Yeah. So it doesn't just sound all
Yeah.
That's when I'm yes. Okay, yes. Here's the stuff. I've got growl, I've got fizz, a little bit of fizz. Yeah. I've got real bite. It has bite to it, and then I'm not playing into the wolf thing.
Yeah.
But that's what I felt like. I was I got growl, I got bite, and I got fizz all in one box, and this is great.
Yeah. Where were you setting the gain control at?
I was playing around differently with that. I think I was probably just maybe 2 o'clock. If I recall, I think as that where I was like, oh, this is kind of pushing it enough. And then if I tried to stack something in front of it, I'd actually back that off a little bit because then it would just be kind of too much and getting blown out.
Yeah.
And I believe I had the tone kind of set at noon because I just wanted to see what this could do without. Yeah. But now learning about the tone a little bit more, I probably will see how that reacts differently.
And it does when gain is all the way down, you're going to get a brighter sound. So we typically kind of back the tone off, and then of course you try and gain up, it's going to get kind of a little bit darker. So, but the very cool thing about this is that it has enough high end on tap.
Yeah,
for that. So
maybe a rule of thumb is the gain, the opposites.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd probably be
what? No.
Yeah. So you bring gain up this. Well, no, never mind.
No.
Yeah, no, actually, yeah. Sorry, no, in sync. Yeah.
In sync, yes.
Yeah, in sync.
2 clocks telling the same time.
Yes.
Yeah. What's that?
My commentary on this, and we talked a little bit before the show, is I was impressed how interactive these 3 controls are. I mean,
you might think it's limiting.
Well, you might, but I mean, honestly, when
just
you
by
start
looks,
playing, when you start playing around with different combinations of the volume, gain, and tone, I mean, I found it. I mean, it was a very rich, creamy sound that came out of this, and of course, if you increase the gain even further up, it just goes. But it's not so much that that you can't articulate notes.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it too, because some, borderline fuzz pedals, it just gets to a point where you can't hear the individual notes.
It gets mushy.
And this one, I think it's just a great combination of compression, of interactivity between, the volume and the gain and the tone. And I like the fact that with the tone control, you could really take out some of the real harshness that you sometimes get and really dial in a nice kind of creamy tone. So kudos to this.
Hey,
yeah. I think that's a good point, the harshness factor, because like right now for the Valentinos, what I'm doing is I'm running a Morning Glory occasionally into the Seriatone clone thing. And I'm getting like the sound. I'm getting the grit, the growl, the fizz, and the articulation. Yeah. But it does. It can sound harsh, especially going through the Marshall. That did not. That's why I was immediately like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I had to sacrifice a little bit of the bottom end that the Serotonin. Well, I got to figure out how to say that dumb thing. The clone.
Clone
provides.
Yeah.
But in lieu of that, I gained a little like less harshness, and he said it right. It was like it was kind of creamy, but light cream. Fat free cream.
No, I think I'd give it heavy whipping cream.
Okay.
Heavy whip.
Yeah. On a side note, I was also like, wow, this is really cool because like right now our vibe for Valentinos, we did the shirts with the wolf on it, and
that's perfect.
And I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. Yeah. I got the wolf. I'm playing, and I got the wolf on the shirt and the whole nine yards. And then I read the note that you had with it about your grandfather and everything.
Yeah, about the artwork.
Yeah, and we've talked about deeper things in our travels and stuff, and I just I'll say again, I've already said this to you, but I'll share this with everybody else. I really truly connected with not the fact that you did something necessarily in honor of your grandfather. I think that's a very sweet and kind gesture, and probably means a lot. But I appreciate the things that you associated with that, and the perseverance. And I think you said it was in the midst of like when things are how did you trials and stuff like that, right? And I appreciated that because it actually it wasn't just sort of like a hollow dedication to a pedal.
Yeah.
Like that pedal can get you through whatever amp, whatever guitar, whatever pedal stack you're working with. Like and whatever you're trying to when you're crafting music, you're kind of fighting against it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, if you can't get over a certain area, you can just throw your hands up and say, well, this isn't going to happen. This song isn't going to be anything. And you might not be open to the surprise if you do push through it.
Yes.
So I really connected with that in many different ways.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's one of the cool things with the stories. And, it's been a process that we kind of been developing. We get a lot of messages from people that may have came across a brand, or maybe they just picked up one of the new, like they picked up a pedal and they really sat down similar to you and read through the stories and been able to really connect. And I guess that's one of the really cool things about the stories of the pedals is that, although they're sharing a little bit of my kind of heritage, they're also like allowing others to see that, hey, Mike carries that native culture, but in a way we're still connected. Like he experiences similar things, and especially today we think, sometimes people can think that they're in their crew and they only experience those things. Right. Mm-hmm. And one of the really cool things, especially with the Pretty Bird Woman, when we sat down, and the Pretty Bird Woman is another story that's dedicated to one of my other grandparents.
And that pedal is here.
Is our chorus. And the Pretty Bird Woman, it talks about kind of the pillars in our lives, the people that no matter how far we go, they'll always be there, that unconditional love. Mm-hmm. And when me and Micah sat down to type that, he was kind of like, dude, I don't know your grandma. But I was like,
I'm
that's
sure
fine.
She's really nice.
But that's fine, dude. No, but I told him, I was like, that's fine, because tell me about your Pretty Bird Woman. Tell me about your Pretty Bird Woman. And he just began to share it, and we literally just kind of started flowing with the writing, right?
Yeah, and it's the idea that it may not be like, it's like that maybe not be your grandmother. It could be anybody in your life, but we probably all have that person. Yeah,
we all have a Pretty Bird Woman in our life that we know will be there. And that's kind of the whole concept that's kind of, I guess, growing with these products is, I'm sharing my culture, but we're creating connection with people. And so I definitely appreciate you throwing that out about the story. It's it definitely means a lot.
Yeah, and I know you've named it. It's literally called Native Audio, right? It's like this is a huge part of your brand. However, I think it would be easy and or clumsy to really go full blast on that. Like you're keeping this at a balance to where it's acknowledged, and you're doing it in a tasteful way without making it a mask.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And me and Micah have these conversations almost every single day. It's a conversation to be had, and I reemphasize with Micah every single day is that I don't carry this, like we don't carry this brand name necessarily to be like, hey, this is a native brand, you should feel bad, you should buy this pedal because I'm native. We both believe that we have to produce product that lives up to that perceived value. Mm-hmm. Because if we are not producing product that lives up to what we're showing, somebody plugs in this pedal and they're like, dude, this thing's a turd. Mm-hmm. I really don't think we're doing our job right. And
sure.
And so that's honestly one of the big key components of Native Audio is we don't want an easy card, and we are more than open to feedback and improving every single day.
Yeah. Last bit on this particular topic.
Yeah.
Can you tell us or just share a little bit about what this has meant to your connection, which you have inherently because you are native, but how much has this amplified that connection, or has it?
connection
to your culture and your community.
Yeah, it's definitely amplified that. I think, and this is something that I've dealt with, and I know a couple other people have dealt with, is like, especially with the Blackfeet. There's a couple other different reservations that I do know that, I mean, they still speak their language fluently. Unfortunately, with the Blackfeet, as each generation comes, it keeps getting a little lighter, and that's kind of been one of the really great things with this brand, is to be able to maintain some sort of light in the dark about the names, the culture. And so even if I'm just sharing just a little bit, at least it's kind of just bringing air back into what is Native culture. And so I personally,
it opens up a conversation.
Yeah, it opens up a conversation.
You're not telling everybody,
and it's been a great learning experience for me, because I personally been able to dive back into stories. There's been times where me and Micah sat down, and I'll bring up a story to him, and I'll be like, "Dude, check this out, read this," and we just kind of share ideas, and kind of it's been for me personally, like I've been able to dive more into my culture, so I definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, love it.
Even as you're talking, like my head's going crazy, like
Oh, yeah.
like I can only imagine what it is sitting down to your tiny desk and tiny lamp every day.
With our tiny ideas.
So
love it.
And we'll reiterate, I mean, you're not a guy who sat down and said, I'm going to start, kind of melting some parts into each other.
Yeah.
I mean, you actually have a master's in
electrical engineering.
Yeah. And so you definitely know what you're doing. And actually, we're one of the earlier people that took DSP technology into small boxes.
Yeah. It's, and I'll tell you what, it's been a learning experience, because doing the company, it's like, you can do electronics, but can you sell something?
Yeah.
And that's been kind of, I guess, it's every single day. I sit down with Micah, and I'm like, dude, so get this. I'm learning. I'm like, hold on. We're going to try something. I don't know if it's going to work, but just hold on, dude. And fortunately, Mike has been with me, and I think he's also seen the development. I've seen Micah also develop, and so it's great, because people think that you can design a product, but it's another thing to sell it, and it's another thing to tell a story, and that's something we're learning every single day.
I heard that.
Yeah,
that's literally what I do every single day. It is.
Yeah, and you come
not
from
always
that.
very easy.
Yes, it's not.
Yeah. Well, cool. Now, just a refresher. What can you just spend just a minute on the line? So, let's just start here. I got the Pretty Bird Woman.
Bird Woman. Pretty Bird Woman is our programmable chorus vibrato.
Okay.
So it's 2 knobs, 2 switches.
4 settings.
4 settings allows the user to save 4 customizable presets.
Perfect.
Tiny
Next.
footprint.
Rising Sun.
Rising
AKA
Sun
Sonora.
is the sleeper tremolo that everyone should try. It's a pedal that Mike and I are actually extremely proud of. It's probably our least appreciated, I'll say.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic optical tremolo. Nails all of your vintage like Fender tremolo amp sounds.
There's pretty much nothing that can
with tap tempo and ramping, so it can do some Leslie-esque effects.
Yeah.
And tap tempo.
There's a lot packed in this little box here.
That is my favorite
heavy.
tremolo I've ever tried. I've tried a ton of tremolos, and that is by far my favorite.
And soft switches. Yay.
Very soft.
Next.
What do we got? War Party. This kind of like our take on the Proco Rat, but it also takes some elements from our Kiyo Overdrive, which is one of our most popular pedals. It'll go anywhere from like high gain but it's definitely has like the super focused rat kind of tone. So if you're
Okay.
into rats, but you want something that still has a little bit of its own flavor, that'd be a really cool pedal to check out.
And you kind of talked about that thing where you hit that low E chord and you kind of have that ring out still, and then you can play softer.
Yeah.
The War Party and our Kio Overdrive kind of implement that technology as well, that just really allow you for that touch sensitivity. Like, because one of my favorite things is when I plug into a pedal and I can play soft and I can play loud, because I'm a very dynamic player, and I can get that same exact response from an overdrive, and that's one of the things that we enjoy implementing in our products.
Right. Well, and it's funny you mentioned that, because I believe myself to be the same way, just with more loud and more chords and more gain.
Oh yeah.
But you've heard, you know that what I play.
But your pick attack, you're still digging in, and so there's still some variation.
Yeah,
in
and still needing to get like singular articulation elements. Okay, so you mentioned the Kio.
Yeah, the Kio is it's our overdrive / distortion. It'll get into distortion at the tail end. It's really more of an overdrive
edge of distortion.
It's our most popular pedal. I think it's kind of overtaken our Ghost Ridge Reverb, which was previously our most popular. It's just a simple 3-knob overdrive.
What is the spirit animal for the Kio?
The Kio is the Blackfeet translation for bear.
Bear. That's
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. And let's see.
Midnight Phaser.
Midnight Phaser.
Yeah. The Ghost Ridge also. The Midnight Phaser is a analog 4-stage phaser. Has the same control layout as the Rising Sun, so you can do the ramping and tap functionality on that phaser.
I have one of those.
Super cool.
Yeah.
It also lets you go. It's got a mixed control, so it'll do like vibrato phaser kind of tones as well.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then
the Ghost Ridge. Yeah, I think it's probably
That's
the one.
probably the most popular one. Am I right?
I think the Kio is kind of overtaken it.
They go back and forth month to month.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the Ghost Ridge is a 2-knob, 2-foot switch, same layout as the Pretty Bird Woman, but allows you to save 4 presets and a reverb pedal.
Yeah.
Has a Hall spring room and plate.
Yeah. Like, and that pedal was kind of our answer to the cats that might be playing, say, like their Boss style pedals. You mentioned the RV3, playing something like that, but they're like, dude, I love to have presets, but I don't necessarily want to go like MIDI. I don't want to start working with. I don't want to start working with crazy channels, amount and stuff. And so the Ghost Ridge is kind of our answer to that, and it's the perfect live musicians setup.
Yeah.
I have one of the
totally
first iterations of that, and I have to say it's very easy to use, especially coming from a Holy Grail reverb.
Yes,
that's what I was using right before that, and it wasn't. It had all these it had the 4 presets, but yet it was not intimidating. And it sounds spectacular. Probably one of the better reverbs that I've ever had.
I appreciate it. And Jared mentioned the Holy Grail, and the Holy Grail is one of those pedals that I feel like you get some hate, but also get some love. But it really is a unique pedal because you have the Hall, I would always play on Hall, and then it just has the reverb knob, right?
Yeah.
And there's something special about having that knob do kind of there's no tone, there's nothing tweaking here, and there's something special about that, and so we try to implement elements of that with the Ghost Ridge.
Excellent. That's it, right? Right now you got some stuff in the works there, Mikey. I know you just released one today, it was today.
It's today.
And I did an unboxing, which I will release tomorrow, which
Sweet.
would have been a week ago if you're just hearing this now. Yeah. Well, something like that.
Out.
All of this is last week happened.
Yeah. No. So we got a couple things sitting on the shelves. I mean, nothing we're gonna really dial in right now, but I think as we continue to go forward, and I guess what's really, I shouldn't probably chill on this, but this McCoy release was something that we're playing around with, and we'll just see where it goes.
I got you.
Yeah.
I know. I fingered to nose.
Yeah.
Pointing.
Finger in the nose.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing so much about these fantastic pedals in front of us. We literally have a table full of pedals. I'm really excited about this. So we need to swing on over to Jared's right now. Getting the old El Camino. I think we can all fit in the back.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the part of the show where we like to play a little game. And really excited to have Mikey and back and Micah as well to play a little game of Would You Rather? So you're walking down the street and then you run into your buddy Todd and he has a story to tell you. So since he's here, I'm going to let you do this one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. That was a great setup. Yes, indeed, you are walking down the street with your bandmate, who happens to be your second guitarist, when lo and behold, a no-good Nick on roller skates dressed up like Zorro comes and snatches your pedal board bag.
No!
Oh,
I can't. Yeah, and off he goes in the sea of people somehow on roller skates because you happen to be in Midtown Manhattan for some reason. And there go your pedals. You're like, now what are we gonna do? That was collectively both of your guitar players' pedals. You arrive at the club, and the sound guy says, "Where's the rest of your gear?" And you say, "Well, here's the story." And you tell him, he goes, "Well, it just so happens, a band came through a couple months ago and left all their pedals."
Oh, how fortunate
and
that
he pulls
would be.
out an old gym bag.
Oh,
that's right.
It's getting
And
scary.
the old gym bag was full of 6 Boss pedals.
Ooh, well, that can't be that bad.
And surely you should have, everything should be cake after this. Gravy even.
Hunky-dory.
Gravy on a cake.
That's Boss.
Unfortunately, when you open the bag, this is what you find. The VO1 vocoder. The PS6 harmonist. The AW3 dynamic auto wah.
Ooh.
The AC3, arguably everybody's favorite, acoustic simulator. The RC5 loop station.
Ooh.
And the MT2 metal zone. Now you're thinking, wait a minute, metal zone? I can probably make this work. Unfortunately, the knob on the distortion has been broken off.
Full up.
And you don't know where it is.
Oh.
It's stuck.
It's stuck.
Now you
That ain't
have
moving.
to split these 6 pedals betweenst and even amongst at the same time, both of you as guitar players. So the question is, would you rather have which of these 3 6 pedals would you like? I had to count on Mike's counting for me.
Yeah, I got you.
Which 3 pedals would you choose? This is a tough one. All
There's
right,
no good answer.
Tony. Here, we're gonna have to we're gonna hold up the list because this is too much to think in our head. We're gonna pass the list around.
Wow.
And if anybody knows the whereabouts of that roller skater dressed like Zorro, let me know because we're gonna take care of that guy.
That's right.
Well, out of all of these, wow. I mean, I certainly. I'm at a loss for words.
This has never happened in the history.
All right. Here's what I'm going with. I'm going with the PS6 harmonist.
Harmonist. Okay.
The AC3 acoustic simulator.
Brave man.
The acoustic.
Acoustic.
Yes, very brave.
And let's go with the dynamic auto wah, the AW3.
Okay. Why not?
I mean, and I think, and here's my reasoning behind this. The harmonist, I think, is kind of cool because it is a kind of a pitch shifter, and if you're doing any kind of lead work, you can throw in, it figures out a harmony to what you're playing, apparently. The acoustic simulator I think could be used as a decent, clean preamp into your regular amplifier. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the acoustic simulator also has a
12-string.
It has this 12-string set, but I think it also has a chorus built into it too. Maybe not on that pedal. There's other acoustic ones that have that.
There's a bunch of other nonsense that nobody really needs.
And the Ottawa, I just think is, that's just a fun pedal. Now, the loop station, I have no idea how to use that. The vocoder, no, not going to use that. And then, an unpredictable metal zone is worse than a predictable metal zone.
Potentially.
So there you go.
All right.
Those are the three: the harmonist, the acoustic simulator, and the dynamic Ottawa.
Okay. All right, Micah.
Okay, I've got to say Metal Zone.
Yes.
Because
get in the zone.
There's a war on clean tone, and with that Metal Zone, I'm waging it.
All right.
Yes.
RC5. That's a great loop pedal.
Sure.
I use an RC3 all the time, so that's actually an upgrade. RC5, Dynamic Ottawa, AW3, definitely. That one's super funky. I've never played that one, but I've played AW2 and the Touch Wah.
Yeah.
The T-Wah, those are fun. So I'm gonna say AW3 is probably fun.
Sure.
But yeah, those are my three.
Yeah. Now the Ottawa, never. We'll keep going. Mike.
Yeah.
Mike, go ahead.
I'm just going to reiterate exactly what he said. I'm going to do the Metal Zone.
What?
Yeah, I'm going to do the Metal Zone.
Whoa.
We hate clean
Wait
tone.
a minute.
We hate clean tone.
What?
What's
You're
what?
Mr. Frusciante. What?
Okay, tell me what is this Frusciante acoustic simulator?
No.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
no, I'll tell you what.
Yes.
No. Okay, I'll tell you. So Metal Zone. I'll do Metal Zone, Loop Station, and Dynamic Ottawa. Here's the reason.
Copycat.
No.
I'm not buying that at
Because this is why I choose those. I'm trying to look at something that I would basically plug up and play at a gig, right?
Yeah.
I just don't see myself rocking a harmonizer at any time in probably my entire life. And then a vocoder, same exact story. Acoustic simulator, I'm playing an electric. Why would I try to be an acoustic?
Well, you don't have to if you leave the tone factor down and just go level.
Yeah.
Now you're boosting your level and you're getting into actually boosted clean tone.
Yeah, and we're waging war on clean tone. I'm serious.
I don't know if I've ever heard you play distorted music.
We just made the McCoy.
Well, that doesn't mean you're playing it.
It changed him.
Yeah. No, dude. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I would. The Metal Zone, you don't leave many options. So I think the way you're looking at me saying these words is like out of all the pedals of my entire life, I chose the Metal Zone.
I'm so surprised by that.
Are you?
I am. Aren't you?
No, I think he's waging a war on clean tone.
Waging
You
a war
gotta
on
have
clean
dirt.
tone.
Yeah, you gotta have dirt.
Dirt.
Yeah, dirt it up.
Somehow I feel like that's going
Get
to make
dirty.
it on its a T-shirt or something. Yes. Oh, Jared, go ahead.
I'm going to go with the vocalizer, the dynamic Ottawa, and the Metal Zone.
Okay. All right.
I like the
Everybody's going the
vocalizer.
Metal Zone. All right.
Yeah.
No, I
Metal
didn't go to the
Zone.
Metal Zone.
You didn't go the Metal
And-
Zone.
Well, I'll go Metal Zone.
Okay.
I'll get in the zone with the Metal Zone. I
right.
actually had one, and it was the worst
zone, dude.
pedal I've ever seen in my life.
Okay. Get in the mute zone in the meantime. Here we go. Okay.
Todd, it's up to you.
Well,
Save this podcast.
I'm definitely going with the dynamic Ottawa because I would use that to take it all the way down.
I never heard you use wah before. Oh.
But I wouldn't use it as wah. I would take the speed all the way down and basically just use it as a kind of like a cocktail.
You could also do that same thing with the Metal Zone. Just turn it off.
True.
It's a mutal zone.
Yeah, mutual zone.
I think I would go with the harmonist because that would just end up being some kind of weird, fun stuff. I've never played the Harmonist, so why not? And I'm going to surprise all you guys and choose the metal song.
There you go.
Whoa.
That's
I just hope it's not broken on 0.
Dude, you threw all
When
this
it
fuss
happens
about the zone.
Everybody
It just
chose it.
buries everything else.
Yeah,
That's true.
Actually, I am going to do that because I play in Dirt World.
you gotta have
Yeah.
dirt.
I'm in the war.
A little crispy.
All right. Well, that was a fun one, Todd. Thank you so much for coming up with that and sharing that with myself.
Was that third person or fourth person?
Yes, I was standing on top of the fourth wall, looking
I think-
over the edge.
Yeah, fourth wall. Yes.
All right, Tony, you got some people to thank, and then we're going to let our friends Mike and Micah go home.
That is correct, Todd, because at this point of the show, there's a special group of people that we love to thank. These are our executive producers. Now, executive producer makes this show possible. They're a sponsor, a patron. They provide the necessary funding for us to keep in production.
That's right.
This isn't free.
No. Well, not to us, it isn't.
Not to us, it isn't. It's free to the general public.
It is free to the general public.
So you might be asking yourself, how can I, as an individual, become an executive producer? The answer would be you go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs and check out a couple different levels in which you can participate, become a sponsor, a patron of this very podcast. Each level comes with a wonderful selection of thank you gifts. But as an executive producer, there's one thing more. Mike, what is it?
Oh, Jared's not quick on the draw. He must be battling the puppies.
Uh-oh. Puppy battle.
There
You gotta no. That's my thing. You're trying to take my thing away. It doesn't work.
Who is
What's
this?
what's your thing?
Who is calling? Is this a patron? Is this an
Yes.
executive producer?
And you get to have your name read on the thing.
Your name read on the thing. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So special thanks to these executive producers. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Back in.
Okay.
Moon Guitars, Vaderin Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Mike D, Richard Kendall, Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Gimalero, Bill Gola Guitars, John Esterly, Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Sanchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Tom Brazen, Rusty Sneeden, Ralph Gottschalk from Wonderful Audio Technology. What? Don Kloss, Gregory Randall, Brett Hogarth, Eric Hemmer, Stuart George, Michael Furman, and Andrew DeHaan.
Excellent.
But wait, Todd, there's more because there's this very, very special group of executive producers. These are our grand poobahs. They get a fez to wear upon their head.
And they're still stuck at the top of the tower in the penthouse because Mike is still telling me about how great his pedals are in the elevator.
Ah, the elevator pitch. Wow, that's a slow elevator ride.
It's very slow.
No, we've been up there a while. So go ahead.
Well, drink all of the orange Kool-Aid that's available up there, Grand Poobahs. Because these are our Grand Poobahs. Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Igareda, David Kaminga, Brandon Wow on pickups,
That's right.
Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Jerusik from 12th Hour Devices, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. Eddie Serratos, David Poe, And Billy, a Spitfire. Happy birthday, Billy.
Happy birthday, Billy. Hey, I just want to say, number one, thank you to all of you out there who continue to support us. Number two, for those who are wondering, like, well, that's cool, I get a little thing. We do give away as much stuff as we can, and we're actually doing a run of hoodies that we are giving the opportunity for these people, our patrons, to get, all of our executive producers and poobahs. We're giving away. Tony wrote something dirty on there, but in the next, I think, week or two, hopefully, we're giving away the 2 Klon clones that Rare Buzzer upgraded. So that's happening.
Wow, nice.
So there's that. I want to just put that out there to everybody. Also, if you are a builder listening to the show right now, I would love to get your brand, your swag, whatever, in front of the people that are signing up to support the show. Stickers, picks, pins, whatever you want, send them our way. We will put them in the hands of people that should get to know your brand, whether you've been on the show or not. All right? I'm
Fair
just
enough.
saying that out there.
That sounds good.
Because I'm running low on that stuff right now, so help me out. I think that's it. But we've said a lot tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Mike and Micah, where can people find all your stuff?
They can find us at nativeaudio.com.
Are you on Instagram too?
We do have an Instagram at Native Audio. Check us out.
Nice.
Micah, any place people need to check out beyond these things?
Oh, yeah. Like Skirt Band. Mike's
SKRT.
pitching my band, but
Yes.
SKRT is a band I play in. You should check it out if you like punk rock, I guess.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Nice.
Lo-fi rock. Lo-fi rock, punk rock.
Just recently,
grungy, punky stuff. I guess.
they not too long ago released a dual. What would you call it? Dual album?
A split
with the band Lung, and a very great album. They did this whole thing with Romanus Records, where it's like a textured record, very special record, sweet. So definitely check them out.
Technically, all records are textured, but that's just a formality, Mike.
No, not really.
It has digital texture.
Yeah, anyways, Tony, where can people find you?
Just go over to pickguardian.com, check out some of the things that I do. But I specialize in custom work, so shoot me an email. Let me know what you want, what you need, what you're trying to do, and I will help you out.
Right on.
Pickguardian.com.
Right on. And if you need some examples of that, you can check out the Guitar Knobs website at the guitars that we've posted. Mostly mine.
Mostly Todd's.
Jared.
Everybody knows that I'm in the pickup game, so if you want to talk to me about that, jared.allen.brandon on Instagram.
Right. Or send him cooking recipes. You can shoot me an email, todd@theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram @guitarknobs. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to get your 4 on the floor. You got a cool idea like we just talked about with these insane boss pedals? Send it our way. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the close of another fantastic, and if I do say so myself, I think this was a good one. I appreciate the show that we concocted here, the conversation that was had. Mike and Micah, thank you for taking the trip all the way from Dayton to come hang out with us, and for bringing these pedals, and for making awesome products that you've clearly put so much thought into.
Yeah.
The guitar community appreciates it.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
You bet. All right, everybody, have a fantastic guitar weekend. Subscribe!
Yeah.
You broke the cardinal rule. We're going to...
I'm laughing at Todd.
Okay, Tony, you're on restriction. We could actually, it'd be great as the Pillsbury when it goes.
Just have Jared record it. Yeah, they can check us out on Instagram at nativeaudio.com.
Is that code for clap?
Yeah, code for clap.
I hear you. Now I hear ya.
No, gotta get the acoustic simulator.
You got the talent sitting in Nashville. You got to feed the talent, baby. Come on.
So this is love.
They can check us out at Native Audio.
You know where you work?
Dude,
He usually calls it his house.
No, I'm not going to do it during the recording, you goofball.
Yeah, it's still messing with our ears right now, goofball.
$5 if you can guess what guitar I'm playing.
Acoustic.
brand?
I'm not.
Ask him the DS1 question.
Yeah. Would you rather have a DS1 or a Sunburn?
Sunburn? Why does it have to be this? Why can't we just have a simple would you rather like?
Because it's
time?
good. It's good. That's why.
If I'm not reading it, it's not that good.
Or it's
I
the
like mine,
Sonora.
brother.
It's the Sonora.
Thank you, Jared.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jared.
It's the Sonora pedal.
They can check us out at Native Audio on Instagram and on our website at Native Audio. I screwed it up again. Oh my
is
gosh.
this possible?
Just rewind it.
I can't. Rewind
Roll
my
the
class.
tape. Roll the tape.
Here we go.
Quick.
Roll the
Here we
tape.
go.
Tapes are rolling.
Take 10. All right, babe.
Let's do it.
Thanks, babe.
I'm not done.
Okay, baby, let's do it, baby.
That's good.
You can do better than that.
Nah, he's good. Then away we go. Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.